looking for the way back in the point. Time starting to tick on down. Lindstrom, early pick on the Beetle. Strange Ult gonna come over and end the fall through instantly there, and just a very clean round from Alcalcia, Jake. To get a pick in the neutral before ults are actually engaged, or some form of advantage there. But okay, as I say that, Tuesday heard me, Jake. With the setup from Crazy Kitty, able to take down Tilt at the beginning. Chop now at a one-man advantage. Able to take down Milk Boy right on after, so the doors are open for Chopped.
Alcalcia still holding on to a couple key ultimates of their own, so it looks like they're gonna have a little bit of an edge. And the Meteor M from Chopped, though, takes out Maluka, removes a key factor in this fight. Lindstrom gonna go all in.
Okay, gonna drop the Agamotto, hits 2. Crazy Kitty and Beetle, though, able to stay alive. The Loki clone ult coming on in. Chopped looking very healthy here so far. Strangling Prison, good to go here from Beetle. Doesn't need to use it here, though, Jake. The cleanup was there. Chopped, they were able to make good adjustments. Alcalcia, we'll see what their adjustments are going to look like. And this time around, Jake, relatively even at the start of the round.
Big Strange portal in. Wolverine's going deep, but the team's a little bit slipped behind him, but maybe it doesn't matter. The Wolverine is just huge here from Crazy Kitty. The surprise opener and wins the fight and immediately onto the Winter Soldier. I love that, right? Making use of the Wolverine ultimate on a map that, frankly, isn't that good for Wolverine, right? So Alcalcia has bought a lot of time, though. Ballas should be back to the fight soon.
House is going to be back in. Ensong Inferno popped. We're looking right now, looking at where to go.
Wait up,
actually going to be dropping him all. Alcalcia dropping every ult in the world while Tuesday was up in the sky. And so far, both teams still reasonably healthy, but Tuesday into the backline doing damage. Ballas, though, with the follow through on the other end. Milk Boy on top. Chop now down 2. Alcalcia turning this fight to their advantage, and all the while still in control.
Moment. And I think that's probably the hardest part of the map for Ballas, right? It's like the most choky, the most difficult to flank on. He still finds an opener there, and now has a lot more room to work with here on the payload base.
And you mentioned that. Dance the Butterfly moving over. Isolation onto Tuesday. Tuesday immediately getting cut down where they stand, in Ballas adding on a few more.
But the ultimate from Maluka also allows a continued frontline pressure from Alcalcia. They're just ignoring Jeff. They're charging into the front line, absolutely wiping Chop off the board.
Ideally, you get in and do critical damage before DRP is able to rejoin, but this is gonna delay things even more. Chopped with the Luna ult. This gives DRP time to get back in, and when DRP gets back in, Meteor M's gonna be good to go. Alcalcia, they know this. They pop the Ultron ult. They're looking for anything, but DRP, he's back. Meteor M, it got blown up. It got immediately burst on down. Now, Kraken Impact in here from Ballas, looking for anything. Gonna find a DRP down. Back to spawn once more. Kraken Impact reset into the backline. Ballas chipping away the Chop backline. And is this gonna be Alcalcia finally flicking the point? They're very close, Jake. DRP coming down Kea, and there's not gonna be a BRB this time around. So definitive one-player advantage here from Chop, which is really big against triple Vanguard, triple strategist. Into the back we go. Crazy Kitty with the Omega Hurricane looking to bring things on through. The res, though, as you say, coming on in from Ballas on the Adam Warlock. Very, very nice. Keeps Alcalcia in the fight. And I mean, this is a very survivable comp, Jake.
Yeah, the spawn game setup is good, but there's the Hand of Khonshu combo with the Groot ultimate. Tuesday had no problem charging that one back up again, getting it online a second time before the Groot combo comes in.
I want the momentum to keep on going forward, and trust me right now, just trying to be a distraction. Freedom Rush going to come out here from Chop, though, and Chop diving on deep. Crazy Kitty able to take down Fate, just follows Captain America's lead, and it works out beautifully.
Hey, they might not have the Luna dance floor, but they're just replicating that same success off the back of the cap. And
the Eternal Bond is there. They're trying to focus through. While the Bond is up, is Team 1. The Horde comes out. It doesn't do the damage they're looking for. Rajaro is down. Massive in from Beetle. The Meteor M seals the deal. And this is looking like a first point hold against Team 1. Previous player now where like Melio has been playing, and Melio is like absolutely ridiculous for Team 1. I don't know the backstory with Melio in regards to, it's temporary or not. Like we were told Melio's on the roster. Next fight underway. Gonna open up with the Eternal Bond. Naga looking to slow it down. Ensong Inferno on and around the convoy. Fate getting ready to pop an Eternal Bond of their own as soon as the dance ends up finishing. Crazy Kitty, though, getting into action here once again. Another 2, and has the final, or last stand still available here, Jake, for what could be the final fight, for what could be the championship fight.
Our energy in supernova form is starting to canvas the point with flames, and a double back here from Spark Chief, who really has to be everywhere at once. Now, though, diving the backline, and it's a fate of both worlds in play for Dreamland.
Meteor M taking down Chivalry just through, bursting through. One of the only things that can do it is now the cleanup happens. FlyQuest had to commit a decent amount. I mean, even had to commit the God of Mischief as well with the copy, but finally.
Here's that Galactic Legend that win play. This is very much countered out by the invisible boundary, given that, of course, our friend Star-Lord requires line of sight to those targets to lock onto them. Psionic Seduction, Neil Peasant says Vest drops down onto the cart. Looks like there's a good catch afoot here, and oh yeah, Mace was ahead of their shield, so not able to save that ultimate up, but here's a Dance of the Butterfly now. This is getting a little bit uncomfortable. Vest eventually brought down, and Stinkers does water disengage. We saw how low they went. They had to use their team up to stay alive. They stick around and have impact where it matters.
No lag.
Vision stunned up. How does try me the right click on him? Okay, you know what? Not even gonna ask. That is pretty dirty stuff. And of course, the Phoenix has a bit of snowball potential given how good her durability gets when she is hitting those marks. And just when it looked like FlyQuest might have time of us to actually build up to those strategist ultimates, they get washed by Dreamland. The Energy's Dance of the Butterfly might be a decider. Gonna get popped pretty much straight away. Now you can see the damage going down on Chuckles and Mason. Gibbery has to make use of that Eternal Bond. So that's ult for ult trade, a duelist for strategist. And Vess ends up going down. There is a last stand, and that's the burst damage that Dreamland were looking for.
And Stinkers, I mean, just again, you saw the kidnap takes place. They find Vess. They pop the last stand like you talked about. Being so dastardly.
All right, between this Loki and this Mantis, it's something that you're going to have to keep in mind. They need self-sufficiency from their duelists to be able to operate outside of the need for that healing. What a Meteor for Mace, though. Talk about a slam dunk. Vess, Energy, and Zelos all just lingering a little too far in the front line. Now, Karmic Revival's going to get them back into the fight. The position of it is decent, and it's straight away. It looks like a Rejuvenation Domain popped by Cooper to make sure that they'd have the chance to shake themselves with their stupor and get back into the fight. That's clobbering time. That's pressure on Valentina, but the healing is in place. Soul Resurgence popped by Dreamland now. And a Meteor for Vess that goes nowhere in particular, as it seems. Now they're in deep trouble. Able to get a little bit of a lifeline with the barrier, but there's just not enough healing for them in a pinch.
Yeah, when the fight breaks down here. Yeah, there's a lot of healing, but the problem is there's not a lot of, I would say, damage.
Yes, now the Puny Banner, and he'll be dragged down awfully quick. Chime's going to finish the job now. It's like mystery heroes right now for Dreamland. They've got the Winter Soldier in play here, but Vision has that Punisher ultimate, and in a pinch, it's not too shabby. Definitely able to force Chuckles away. And now, Tara's set up in the middle of a firefight. Curious to see how this works out. Stinkers just has to skirt around the edge of that invisible boundary. And that's probably why Vision can afford to turret up there. Safe as houses are FlyQuest for now. And it looks like Dreamland's Reign of Terror finally should be coming to a close. Mace operating in the front line. Gibbery and Mace both stunned up there briefly. And here comes that Kraken impact. Drops down. Marks 2. Chuckles gives the reset now over to Vision, who can continue to run through them. That's Dreamland stopped halfway through the last phase. Chuckles a little bit low here. Valentina just blown up. That is Cal going to work. And now finally, eyes on the Namor. Window trying to go in that direction. Chime has to cocoon and head skyward, but there's too much pressure from too many angles, and Galactic Legend will gobble up the Namor. Stinkers on the run back here. Eventually brought down. It's Window with enough damage, and Stinkers just couldn't be where they had to, even with the last stand at the ready. Fate of Both Worlds in play for Dreamland, trying to make best use of it for only 5 players left. And it's going to have to be a cocooned revival now for Cal, who gets caught between a rock and a hard place by all appearances. Back into the fray now. Fate of Both Worlds to make this a little bit easier, but Adam Warlock can be a little bit of a squishy part of this. Very much a glass cannon, but you can see what Cal can offer when they've got a little bit of room to work.
You hear of having a lot of comps in your back pocket here with Mace. I mean, making all these flex picks in particular. And I think I had called it out previously. Like, we need the front line for Dreamland to make a lot of plays here, because I feel like the duelists, they're great. Dreamland, they have a lot of duelist power, but we need to see the rest of the team. And Mace with these swaps from moving from the Strange to the Thing to also even the Wolverine really gave them a lot of options here to contest Indy, and I felt like that was very crucial in securing this map for them, and that's just they need to remain competitive versus Indy.
Yeah, I don't like putting the result of a game down to this too often, but the duelist diff was definitely real there. Stinkers, it comes out of that game with 19 final blows, and I mean, even the eye test kind of shows you just how much more success they're able to find in that Wolverine. And it is also like Envy on their attack side. They goof off a little bit. Well, not goof off. They get a lot of value from Moon Knight early on, but eventually it becomes less relevant as they get into the second phase of the map. And
navigate around the Wolverine, really just jump on top of them. And the split here was so good from the Envy there, where they just split put a lot of point presence there. Had made Dreamland have to turn around while the Rage of Ultron was going, and they just broken open this fight because Dreamland just didn't know where to focus. Now they're going to get chased here into the spawn. Unlikely anyone's going to go down, but there's a chance here with Window, wanting to commit.
Okay, we are absolutely going for it here. Did I hear a Horde of Proteus go off? It looks like it was reactive, and caught on a window or someone like that, but that is obviously not the context in which you want to use that Namor ultimate. Onto the point though, Dreamland get at least, and for Envy, it's the cost of Nero. They've lost their Lunar Smoke for the time being. The Psionic Seduction though is tough to treat with if you're Dreamland. Valentina's going to come back though. Fate of both worlds is there. Dreamland can at least extend this fight a little bit longer and try and finally gets the altitude required to bring down speedily. That at least is one of the duelists that can get up there for a window at least.